Welcome to Transport Fever 2. I am Northern Moose, and what I'm going to show you is my layout and a specific portion of my layout which distributes cheese to various locales and how that system is set up on my layout. So, without further ado, let's dive right into Transport Fever 2. And we're going to pause for a second while we start the game and wait for it to load. The game is just about ready to load. And here we go. So I'm playing on a large map, and there are a number of larger cities. I've been playing this for a while, so there's a number of larger cities that require cheese. So I've set up a cheese distribution system, and so we'll start by looking at the actual cheese factory, which is right here. And I use a number of mods to enhance the industry and a number of other elements of the game. So I'm not too interested in achievements. I'm more interested in gameplay. So this is the cheese factory, and it requires milk to produce cheese. I found it really difficult to maintain an adequate supply of milk so that the factory could churn out cheese on a consistent basis. So I'm running a little bit short on cheese, but let's have a look and see how I've got it set up. And so as you can see, I've got no milk in the factory. So the smoke disappears, meaning it's not producing any cheese. Now there is a milk train coming in, and it should provide some fresh milk, and it's a full load, so it's 160 units of milk, which is good. I've got the dairy farms set up to work, overtime, and so they're producing as much milk as they can. I've got three supplier dairy farms set up. One right here, very close by. There's only one train on it, and it's a full load every time. It goes back and forth, back and forth. By the time it gets back to the dairy farm has produced enough milk for a full load. Now I've got two more lines coming in here delivering milk, and most of them, well, this one here you can see is not getting a full load of milk. However, I think this one here, right here, is consistently full. Yeah, so we're getting 160 units, which is what these trains are capable of transporting. And so this line is consistently delivering 160 units per train. This one not so consistent. So I've got three trains on each of these lines, one train on this line, and we're going to wait for the cheese train that's coming, as you can see right there. There's the train that's going to pick up some cheese and deliver it to Fording Ridge, I believe the name of the city is. Now, not only do I have a train set up to deliver cheese, I've also got two air routes set up to deliver cheese to cities that are further away or that are simply inconvenient to set up a train route to them. So I'll briefly show you those plane or those air routes later. They're not that interesting. I find the train routes a lot more interesting. So here we go. We've got the train not quite getting a full load. Doesn't need it. Well, it could use a full load. So let's hop into this train and check out the route. So here we are. And we're on our way to Fording Ridge to deliver 108 units of cheese. And you can see at the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, it shows you how many units the train is carrying. And that was a nice upgrade feature of Transport Fever 2. If you're familiar with Transport Tycoon, you will see some similarities, except the graphics are much, much better in the Transport Fever. There's no competition in Transport Fever. You're competing yourself. You're competing with yourself, and I don't think there are any plans for to introduce competition. Although it would be, it could enhance gameplay somewhat. Although it's good just to play, to have a monopoly. Now we've got two trains delivering cheese. We don't need any more than just two, at least currently. We're delivering as much cheese as we can. If we could get more milk delivered, we would be able to produce more cheese. We're a little bit short on the cheese. This is the oncoming cheese train. Uh, and then the other red trains that you see on the left, those have nothing to do with the cheese distribution. Those are coffee trains. I really like bridges and tunnels. I like bridges more. I find the tunnels a little bit claustrophobic, but sometimes you need them. I do like the bridges. In an earlier iteration, earlier on in this gameplay, I didn't have the bridges. I had the tracks crossing each other, and it caused all kinds of delays. And so it's running a lot smoother now with the bridges. So we're just about to arrive at our destination. And the other nice feature about this upgrade is you can move your mouse to the left and see what's going on your left, and you can do the same to your right. And you can see there's a nice river. And so we're now making our way to the station. And I'm going to hop out of the cab here by pressing my escape key. And the cheese will be delivered and it will be dropped off right here at this truck stop. The trucks will then pick up the cheese and deliver it to this cargo station here on Park Avenue. Now, I have a naming convention which I learned from another player who placed, I got the idea from another player. So what I do with my lines, I have, let's say, we'll look at so the, yeah, so this is the road lines. So any of the buses will have a B at the beginning. So these are all bus lines. And then C, these are all cargo lines. And most of them will have a an extension at the end. Some of them don't. I like the use of the word extension at the end for the cargo lines. I didn't do that for this one, I noticed, but I think that's all right. For the trams, for the tram lines, I think this one's not being. Oh yeah, this is used. Yeah, so this is a tram line that's connecting. I can't remember now. Let's have a look where that is. Oh, I'm not using it. That's why. Okay. Anyway, so that's the cheese distribution line system, part of it, anyways. So what feeds that factory are the dairy farms. The dairy farms require grain to feed the cows, so I have to deliver grain to the dairy farms, and that enables the dairy farms to produce milk. Without grain, the cows do not produce milk. So I've got a number of grain trains running on this line. I think I've got 4 on this line. So this is the Canuck grain supply. So I've got 4 here. They're fairly long trains by my standard anyways, 14 wagons, each carrying a load of grain. So that's the one line of grain to dairy. Then I have another line here, grain to dairy, and there's 3 trains on this line. And this is moving quite a bit of grain. So there's always grain here. I think sometimes it runs out because it's I've configured this factory to go to be at its top performing rate, and this is I believe this is as a result of a mod that I have, and I believe it is let me think here. It, it, it might it might be this one, advanced industry level. I think that's what it is. Might have something to do with this one as well. Um, Certainly they're all related in some ways. So that's what I've got set up. I've got a bunch of mods here. And then I have another line here that supplies grain to the dairy, and that's also got 3 trains. And this one isn't as productive as the other one. Now let's see if I've got this one set to 4. That could be the problem. Sorry, I need to look at the factory. Let's see what this is set to. Yeah, it's set to 4. So I don't know why it's not consistently producing enough to fill up the train. Yeah, it's not. So I don't know. Maybe it's not getting enough grain, but I've got a fair amount of grain being delivered, and this has got tons of grain. There's no problem with grain. Maybe it is that I'm not supplying enough grain. That could be it, because if this is running out before the next train appears, that could be the reason. Um, yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't, yeah, it could be. It could be because it's stopping now. So it stops producing, and I've got another train arriving to pick up milk. So that could be the issue right there. So I think if I added, I think if I added for this line, instead of just having 14, let's add another cargo wagon to it, and we'll make sure that's orange as well. So we'll need to add another one here, another one here. So they're going to be 195 capacity, each one of them. We'll modify all 3 of them for that amount, and I think that might help. So we'll see if that works. So that's the cheese distribution system, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if there are other parts of the layout that you'd like to see. I do have a coffee distribution system. I have a steel supply, so it requires coal and iron. I've got that all set up as well. So if you'd like to see that in another video, just drop a message and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching.